Hello everyone, welcome to the cnft.tools Discord server. My name is ToolSin and I'm joined by the Ape Society, who are here to tell us all about their community amphitheatre project. So I'm joined by Steve, who's going to give us a little introduction and take us from there.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Steve. I'm a member of the Ape Society community, and I'm the I guess you would say the lead that's taking charge of the amphitheater, building the amphitheater. Basically, the amphitheater started with a proposal back in June that Congo challenged us on, right? The community. Basically, he said he was asking, send some proposals into the DAO with some ideas on how a landmark can be can give some use cases society token and basically you have a you we I submitted I got together with a couple of apes and we put a proposal together and basically that's the amphitheater, right? One one thing that I want to mention about it was that they they had a disclaimer in there that Ape Force One, right, the devs for the for the Ape Society, that they didn't guarantee that it was going to be built by them, right, because they got a lot on their plate, etc.
Yeah.
It could be too ambitious. So we proceeded on with the proposal, and basically it takes a I'm reading through it. I'm just kind of skimming through it right now. It it's basically a stadium where apes can go in and compete in tournaments, right? And because of the Ape Society artwork, it's kind of Renaissance. It's kind of a blend between Renaissance style and then medieval style, kind of royalty,
Yeah.
kind of artwork. So we wanted to follow the same artwork pattern, and so we're kind of theming it with the French nobility, French knight term called a chevalier, right? So nobles are going to be able to assemble teams and enter tournaments with their teams. Where they can earn society on the way up as they advance to the tournament, right? All those teams, of course, have to pay a entry fee of society token, and also the audience members have to pay society to watch and to partake in betting. Like they can do peer-to-peer bets. For example, they
Oh.
can interact with a smart contract to bet on which teams they think are going to win, and it's gonna have a awesome it's gonna have awesome participation of utility for society token, not just for the nobles and the chevaliers and their teams that are actually in the game competing, but also on the side, bystanders, they're going to be able to bet. So we wrote up that proposal, and there's utility for every class in the proposal. As Ape Society, the devs, they really thought this through. They really thought their class system through, and I wanted to give utility to every single class, right? So craftsmen, they're going to be able to craft weapons, armor, horse saddles. Artists, they're going to be every team is going to need to have an artist, because the way this is going to work is the artists are going to stream the video feed from their point of view, on their team's point of view, to the audience members. This is kind of be a hybrid. I don't know if you remember, if you participated, Toolson, in the Cardano Summit, uh 2021, with the back of the turtle. Have you remember that?
I've
You,
seen the NFTs floating around, but I've not jumped into that ecosystem myself yet.
so basically, I think IOG set up a metaverse location on the back of a turtle, where people, you can join in through your browser. And I think Virtua did that, right? And everybody joined with a little avatar, walked around. You could start conversations, peer-to-peer conversations, voice conversations, text conversations with people around you. And there were a couple of screens, a couple of theater screens that were showcasing, interviews. Like, for example, last year, whenever Charles interviewed the guys from Dish, right? So there was live video streams, being streamed down to us, while we were in the
Oh,
quote
very
unquote
nice.
metaverse, right? We were with the audience members were just we were just kind of huddled around the TV there, watching it right in the metaverse, and we were able to conversate with each other, and that's kind of what I want to replicate with the amphitheater, right? Stream a couple streams from the competing teams, and then people maybe like in a virtual, like we could really, the way we're building this out, and I'll go over that later, as we go on through the AMA, but um, I don't want to lock it down to one specific metaverse per se. I want to build this thing, the core of it first, where we build the video streams, the on-chain mechanics, in a way that we can install this amphitheater, this stadium, in any metaverse that presents itself as a contender. As they start build it coming out. For example, you have the cornucopias plots that just came out that where you can build your own plot out, right? I forgot what it's called. The of course virtual is a popular one. Pavi is
Yeah.
a classic. Um, so whatever one pops up, we can, and then we can install our amphitheater in one, or maybe all of them, for all the metaverse participants to come in and pay society, and interact with each other from whatever metaverse they decide, right? So um, I feel like I've never been to one of these AMA sources. I apologize. I'm talking a lot, so
No, no,
stop
no.
me.
It's all good. It's all good. I mean, like
Yeah, just
you're saying good things. So until that ends, then carry on.
sure, sure. So I just want to get kind of describe the vision, right, of what we're trying to achieve. And so, craftsmen can crafts, artists are going to live stream. Explorers are going to have access to be airdropped legendary items, right? So legendary items are going to be, I want a society to collaborate with other CNFT projects, or other, maybe Ethereum, I don't know, other projects,
Yeah.
to have artwork inspired, armor sets and everything that are legendary gear, that can be, there's a maybe like a weighted random function that gets, a randomized function that gets airdropped to certain explorers, that people that hold explorers in their wallets, right? So that's the explorer utility, and also Toggin. I don't know if you know Toggin is. He is like the one of the main guys in Dork East magazine. I'm sure you've heard of Dork East, and he is an excellent writer. I mean, whenever I see what he writes about Dork East and the stories, um, he really brings magic. It brings a good story, a backstory to the apes and into the Dork East, and he was one of the co-signers of the proposal. I didn't know he was a writer. I actually pulled him because he knew about sports betting. Because this thing's gonna have kind of a sports betting mechanic, I wanted his expertise, and we got a bonus with his writing skills. So he actually today this week he wrote 19 backstories for legendary items this
Damn.
week. He's been hard at work. So those legendary items are going to be airdropped to explorers. Merchants are going to have two forms of utility. They're going to be the staking line, the betting line managers for the amphitheater. So they're going to be able to set up like betting lines, like in Vegas, right? Whenever you bet on a football game or something, right? This team's going to win. This team has 40% odds to win, and whatever. I'm gonna lean on some apes that have more expertise in that, because I don't. But we're gonna set that up. Hopefully, with the apprentice program, we can bring in some Plutus smart contract developers to properly set up a smart contract for that. But and also the merchants are gonna have access to, when in the amphitheater. Imagine a little metaverse space where you can go interact with people, talk with people, but then around you, around the screen where the fight is being streamed, there's shops, right? There's outlets, there's web outlets to shops like JPEG Store, or a furniture shop, or a something you can buy, like merchandise. Those shops can be rented out, in an auction style by merchants, right? That's so if you have a merchant, if you have an online store, an online website, then you can put your online store in that shop, right? So that's how we're giving merchants utility. Military officers are going to have utility by having elevated stats like strength and agility, higher stats in the
Yeah.
in the, in the so you want to have, if you really want to dominate, you want to have a military officer in the amphitheater, right? Of course, we're as we're building this out, we're going to balance it so that it's not too overpowered, but we're going to give them an edge, right?
Yeah.
um and also, royal advisors are the next one up. They're gonna be there's gonna be a little, every tournament. If you have a royal advisor, you can apply to be the quote unquote administrator of the tournament. I don't mean to say it in like a technical administrator sense. I mean to say it kind of like in a business administrator sense, if that makes sense, right? And the administrator's job is to appoint. Oh, and I forgot the artist. There's going to be artists. I've been trying to get YouTubers, and I see Blake out there in the chat. Um, I, oh, look, we got Shake Your Moneymaker. I'll bring you up here in a second, Carver. But YouTubers that like personalities with grand voices, right? That the community is used to be announcers. Like, think about like Bob Costas, right? In sports games, they're going to be announcers in the amphitheater that announce play by play. Oh, this team's going for the left flank, and these artists, all the admission fees. We have a I don't know. Can I share my screen? You know?
Unfortunately, Discord limits screen sharing and everything to 25 people. So,
Okay,
unfortunately, it's
okay.
not possible now that we're way past that.
That's fine. I'll explain it. I made a little donut chart that outlines the
If you
budget.
could DM me that chart, I can at least throw it up on my other screen for YouTube, though.
Yeah, yeah. I'll DM you all the resources that we have,
Yeah.
that way you can, put them on YouTube. Or yeah, if that's what you're saying. Yeah, for later.
Yeah.
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 Um, so yeah, basically,
Well, like
every
as yeah, just like as we go through, my editing skills for videos are not up to par really. So yeah, if you just chuck them over to me as you're saying about them, I can throw them on the screen.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I just have the recording set up on a separate screen. That's all.
Oh, cool. Let me do that real quick. Let me give you that. I got. Let me DM you real quick while I'm trying to find.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll bring up Shake Your Webmaker, and we can say hello to him. Hello there, Shake. How you doing? Quietly would be the response there then.
Can't figure this out. Okay, here we go. Hey everybody, Shake Your Wob Maker tonight. I haven't changed my name back yet, but it's Shake Your Money Maker normally. But at any rate, I wanted to just kind of lend a little bit of a visual to kind of what Steve is talking about, because I mean I'm blown away by the whole thing, by the whole concept, by the whole just just the whole magnificence of it all. But anyway, Steve, can we tell them kind of like what it's based on, like what game it's based on, and what it's going to look like in terms of how it gets modded out?
Yeah, so I've been doing some research, some market research on games, the existing games out there. Because here's what we want to do. I don't want to be in the business of creating a video game from the ground up, right? What I want to do is I want to find a game that's already out there that we can mod, that encourages modding, where we can mod our eight PFPs in there, in a 3D format, and also mod in the querying of the blockchain from the dedicated server. So, um, what I found was there's a game out there, and then I've read the Steam EULA, I've read the games EULA, and everything that I'm reading seems to be clear that it's okay. All we're doing is getting the server to read a separate database, right, which is the Cardano blockchain, right? So the game is called Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord. I don't know if you ever heard of that game, Toolsin, or do you know?
I haven't, but I'm googling it now. So is it Mountain
Mount and Blade Bannerlord. It's like mount, like a horse mount, right?
Bannerlord?
So so this thing, I mean, they're coming out. The developers are they're about to release a publicly available dedicated server uh, plugin, so people can host their own multiplayer servers, and that's whenever they do that, that's when we can dive in hard and build this thing out. And this, I was in my mind when I was writing down the proposal. I was thinking maybe 16, 30 players max per arena match. But it's looking, I mean, I'm not going to make any promises because I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. But their preliminary testing looks like a couple hundred people can join a massive battle. And
Oh,
so imagine, 200, 100 versus 100. I mean, it, we have so much flexibility from small scale duels, one versus one, to squads to massive battles. So this don't think of the arena. Think of the amphitheater as, sure, like we're going to structure it kind of like a coliseum for the metaverse side of things, but for the actual gameplay, it could be anything from one versus one to, if it allows us, 50 to versus 50. So this is going to be a very, very like flexible platform that we're going to mod, right? So yeah, that's what Shake Your Moneymaker was alluding to, when he, mentioned the game. But the game it has mounted, it's very, it has directional blocking, it has, armor weight, you have to do a trade-off, like you want to be lightweight and mobile so you can flank, or you want to be heavy and tanky, so it's kind of, there's a lot of mechanics in there, and I think apes are going to have a lot of fun whenever they join, man.
so
Yeah,
yeah, I
that
mean,
I just wanted to jump in real quick and say, just in case, because I mean, I know that you had alluded to the Cardano summit last year and how there was just like goofy looking avatars walking around. I want people to understand that we're not talking about building something from scratch, just like stick figures. Like no, this is going to look legit. We're not building it from the ground up. The legwork's already been done, so we're just going to sit in there and mod it out so that it looks more like apes, but in a real game sense. Like it's not just some pet project. I mean, yeah, it is community driven, but it's like built on the foundation of like a legit gaming company.
so are you going to
Yeah.
be able to mod it in such a way that you'll be able to be running around as your ape, sort of like in the game? Are you going to be able to like modify the game assets to use your own assets, or is that something that's a bit further down the line, perhaps?
So I'm gonna get you excited here, Toulson. So I was doing some preliminary research, and there are already people. I mean, just random people, like probably one man, two man shops, just out in the blue. They've already made mods for like Lord of the Rings and World of Warcraft and stuff like that. So you see orcs, you see goblins. So
Oh,
if they can do orcs, goblins, trolls, whatever, we can do apes with the team. And I could,
yeah.
later we'll go into the kind of brain power we have in the Ape Society community, that we is where we can build this thing out. But yeah, so yeah, we can.
Wow. So, going back a little bit to like the form the game is going to take. So it's like a battle arena, you're saying.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's going to be, the game. We can go with the setting inside the game can be an arena, or it can be an open field battle with cavalry and everything. And for example, Shake Your Money, your Wild Maker, he has a noble Carver the Medici. He can build a team, and let's say, in round one he has to, his team, each team member, each of the eight, let's say there are eight team members, they control a little squad of units on the battlefield. And let's say he recruits me as maybe the cavalry, right, leading the cavalry. He's the frontline infantry. Somebody else is the archers. It can be an arena, but it can also be an open field battle like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay. So is it more first person or third person?
It's third person, but I think first person is a option as well.
Ah, very nice. So you can get like your Command and Conquer style sort of like um, tactical stuff as well as like your first person getting in there and seeing the blood fly everywhere.
I would invite everybody to take a to YouTube some videos on Mountain Blade Bannerlord and kind of see and maybe even play it, download it on Steam and play it and kind of get a feel for it because it's I wouldn't say I mean I wouldn't say it's a strategy like a top down like a StarCraft like a strategy game. I would kind of equate it. It's kind of a blend of chivalry and but more a little bit like Total War. Not really. You'll have to just see it. You'll have to just see the game. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so how large physically is the amphitheater going to be? Because I mean, obviously, if you're going to be running everything from like one versus one to like 50 plus 50, there's quite different size requirements for battles.
Sure. So the dedicated server that's going to host the Bannerlord game, the players are just going to stream a video feed to the metaverse location of the amphitheater, and then the amphitheater, like kind of like virtual Cardo, the virtual setup last year. The people inside the amphitheater, the participants, the audience members, they're going to be in the metaverse space. So it's going to be kind of detached, two separated
Okay,
instances. That way we can control gameplay on one and then the audience participants on the other.
okay. So will it be like your own Ape Society game download, for instance? Then.
So I think what the participants of the arena are going to have to do is the way I'm tracking right now. Of course, I'll have to purchase the game, Mountain Blade Bannerlord, if
Yeah.
that's what we choose. And then what we'll do is we'll have them download the mod that we create in the team, and then that mod will take them to the server that we create.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's all sounding like it's going to be fairly streamlined. Like, I mean, so I mean, the next obvious question is how long before all this starts to come to fruition?
So right now, what we're waiting on is the developer to release their official supported dedicated server platform, which I think people have been waiting like all year for it. So I don't know how long it's going to take, but what we're also doing, um, we're not waiting on that. There's some Bannerlord community, the Bannerlord community out there. They have also found a way to do it themselves. So what we're doing is in the way our Bannerlord, I'm sorry, the way the amphitheater Discord is structured, the way the team is structured, we have a bounty-based system where I post a bounty and people go in and go accomplish the requirements for that bounty and come back and get it fulfilled and then I reward them with a certificate which is an actual NFT and even some society token as they level up through the bounty system, right? So even building out like that kind of touches on it's not only going to be fun whenever we launch this thing, whenever this thing gets launched, but we're making it fun and rewarding for the people that are building it as well. So that's the last month. I've been working out a solid structure of incentivization for sponsors, of incentivization for builders, and everything. So right now, going back to answer your question on timelines, you know, we're not waiting on the developers. What we're doing is I have a bounty out to go and bug the hell out of all the community members in Bannerlord, figure out how they are making this happen right now because I see battles on YouTube with 100 versus 100 players right now. How do they set up those servers? How can we get access to that so we can start building ASAP?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot of work, that's for sure. Um, so, do you have people that have specific experience in game development working on this, or is this is something that incredibly bright people are getting to grips with as they go on?
So, I after the proposal was submitted and all the proposals were voted on because there was like 17 or something proposals that were submitted for the same landmark thing, landmark contest, and there were 7 that were filtered through the DAO. And whenever the vote happened, the amphitheater was very popular and won the contest. But some of the comments that I saw was, is this thing doable? Is this kind of ambitious, right? Because the way we're talking, it sounds crazy, right? So I'm like, all right, man. Well, you know what? Let me take a poll. I know looking at it from the game development side, the game modding side, you're going to need a C# developer. Looking at it from the blockchain side, you're going to need some Cardano, maybe some Plutus. Looking at it from 3D, you're going to need some 3D. So, you know what? Let me take a poll and see what kind of talent we have in the Ape Society community. I'm just going to take a shot in the dark and see what happens. And believe it or not, we we do have the talent, ToolSin. We have the talent to build this thing
That's
out, which
sick.
is crazy.
That's sick.
So I'm like, you know what, man? Why don't we give the Ape Force One, Ponzi, and Carbon, and everybody? Why don't we go ahead and start building this thing? Give them an opportunity to build the economic foundation of Ape Society. We're gonna start on the path of getting this thing ready, getting this thing built as much as we can. That way, whenever they're ready to jump in and help and close this thing out, like as far as integrating it with the landmark on the Ape Society map, for the with the cabins, then we'll be at a point where we'll be sufficiently developed so that we can quickly, you know, get it integrated, get it online and everything. So that's the kind of that's the exciting part. The amphitheater sounds exciting already, but me personally, I'm more excited about building it, about showing the world, showing the blockchain world, showing Cardano that the community can build, that our community can build, and because Cardano, we're there's the ethos of change makers, innovators, etc. The way we're building this thing out is in a decentralized way, is in an incentivized way. We're gonna revolutionize how things are built in Web3 and how communities are measured in the future, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of at a loss for words, to be honest. I mean, you know,
Me too. I am. You know what?
it's
Whenever
so highly ambitious and amazing, and there's obviously I've got a lot of questions forming in my mind about how different things are going to work and what's going to be needed, and but
definitely,
the scale of the challenge that you're taking on should not be underestimated.
definitely, and you know what, Toolson, I don't want to dox, but I work for the Department of Defense. I work in the medical field, and you know what? Every day, man, we're fighting security restrictions. We're fighting bureaucracy. We're fighting HIPAA laws. We're fighting. There's so much waste. There's so much obstructions for me to do my job, that whenever I step out into the Web3 world, I don't want to say it's easy, but I feel free to build. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I feel like my training weights are off whenever I'm in Web3. I'm free to, let's go, let's take this charge. There's no bureaucracy in our way. Let's and I'm super motivated to make this happen, man.
yeah. I guess the first question I should ask is sort of like, I mean, I know you said you've read through the EULA and stuff.
Definitely,
Um,
yep.
so, I mean, are you anticipating any problems there? Because, I mean, obviously there's a difference between somebody modding a game for their own use at home versus, implementing it into, your overall business and allowing gambling and betting and everything else around the outside of it as well.
Sure. So what we're gonna separate first. We're building out the game and the modding and the tournament mechanics first. and then later down the road we're gonna see how we can do the betting mechanics, right? But as far as the modding of the game, ULAs and everything for Steam for Bannerlord, I read through those, and they mention about buying and selling crypto using their games, which we're not going to do any buying or trading of crypto using the platform, using their games. All we're doing is just reading from the blockchain, right? And basically, um, you have a server installed, and you see gaming communities all over the place, like with Arma 3 and everything. They have external data sources that feed into those servers to authenticate players, like that are part of a Discord club or something.
Yeah.
And basically owning an NFT, instead of authenticating with like a Discord server, we're authenticating with the blockchain to verify the members of those club that can enter those servers. So if they want to really, if they want to start that fight, they're going to start a bad precedent and alienate a lot of gamers out there. So I'm pretty confident we have a good argument in case they want to step on our toes. And you know what? If they do, if we get so big that they want to come out like, like Ripple and the SEC, right? If we get so big that they want to come out and stop us and kill the Bannerlord game, we'll be so big by then that that will be so funded, well funded by royalties that, you know what, we'll just make our own game. You know?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean
and
that's a slightly longer experience than most people will ever give it credit for. But yeah, I do like the thinking.
Sure. I mean, let's do it. I'm ready to charge in here and let's make this happen.
and I also wanted to mention too, though, that in addition to just like the gambling aspect, there's the whole like play to earn aspect, and I don't know, Steve, if you mentioned that. I was putting the girls to bed, but so I hope my mic was muted. I thought it
It
was, but
was, it was.
all right, cool. But yeah, so like I don't know what other games are doing play to earn using Bannerlord, a modded version of Bannerlord specifically, but I got to imagine that there's, you know, like something along those lines that's already in existence. But that's another aspect that we're going to bring to the table too, which has me super bullish because I mean, for a lot of people, gambling's just not their thing. Like even with the Super Bowl, heads or tails, red or black. It's really it doesn't really get people going. But play to earn, I mean, that is huge in the gaming world these days. Like it is the future of gaming. Like people are doing esports all the time now, as like their full time jobs. So this potentially has a way to like just drive people's careers. Like it's insane to consider the scope of what all is possible here, and I just could not be more excited.
Oh yeah, can you imagine a company buying a Noble so they can have a team? That's pretty much owning a team in this amphitheater is buying a Noble. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely some big opportunities there. So what kind of hardware is going to be needed to be able to take part in this? I mean, obviously you're going to have. Is it just going to be the Bannerlord game minimum specs, whatever they are?
yeah, yeah, for people that are playing the game, and then for people that are participating in the audience, whatever the metaverse requirements are there, you know.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just googling. So the Bannerlord min specs are currently either a Ryzen 3 1200 or a Intel Core i3 8100. So we're talking about chips that are what, 8, 9 years old.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, I run a
Six
I run
gig
a
of RAM, which anyone with a gaming machine should have had at least 8 for the last decade or so.
definitely.
And a graphics card that even mine is slightly better than ours, as it's a GTX 660 2 gigabyte or an ATI Radeon 7850 2 gigabyte. So yeah, they're both like 10-year-old cards again. So yeah, it should be pretty accessible to anyone with who even pretends to game on their PC at least.
I actually haven't even researched that, but that's good. I'm glad it's attainable.
Yeah, I mean, I have a 970, so I'll be good for a couple of years yet on that one, I think. But it is starting to feel a bit long in the tooth. But yeah, it's good. It's good to see low system requirements because obviously it's it's a lot easier for somebody living in the Western world to have the latest hardware, whereas people outside of US, Europe, and certain places in Asia, I guess, might find that hardware a lot harder to come by.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's awesome.
So, how much scope will there be for people that don't own an ape themselves to be able to take part in either the gaming side or the wandering around the amphitheatre, maybe placing a bet, or obviously, I'm assuming that you won't need an ape to pop into the shops, for instance.
That's correct. Yeah, the intent is for, any quote unquote metaverse participant that is able to enter the Pavia or cornucopias or virtual, whatever comes out. Anybody that can wander in there and then walk into our stadium is welcome to, get in, pay a little, society to get in the stadium and then enjoy, enjoy peer-to-peer bets, trash talking, whatever you want to do, whatever however you want to participate. You can meet up with your friends in there. You can talk. It'd be a place to meet, place to have fun, place to wager, place to buy maybe exclusive merchandise, in those shops. Maybe, it's taking we're giving the metaverse a reason to exist. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of fancy having being able to pop in and buy myself an Ape Society pipe. Like, that's just something I'm gonna have to do at some point in my life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
There's a couple this week's been an awesome week for Ape Society.
so are you going to be able to, or do you have plans to be able to track individual player stats so that this player might have an average might average 10 kills in a game, whereas another player might average 25, or all the different ways to break things down for leaderboards to get people a bit more competitive.
So so what we're in whenever we build this thing out, the first iteration of it, the intent is to read from the blockchain, not write to the blockchain yet, right?
Right.
Um, so no, we won't be able to keep track that, like, the intent. We're going to focus on building out the basic functionality first, and then as we move on, as we grow, then yeah, it would be awesome to track kills and hits, and then submit that into a Oracle, like a Charlie 3 or Chainlink, to feed into a smart contract or maybe a website, whatever. We'll have to get creative with
Yeah.
that, but that specific functionality isn't on the radar yet. But we'll if everybody, I mean, if that's going to be popular, then why not, right?
Well,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think that if you don't mind, I'll just pop in
yeah,
real
yeah.
quick. But that's exactly the like most specific use case thing I can think of for utilizing the blockchain for gaming. Because think about it, like the weapons that you're going to be using, right? Like, what if you are like just a really good player, and what if you buy like a sword that was crafted by a certain, ape craftsman? That is going to be a unique sword. Like it could potentially it could be a unique sword if it's minted on the blockchain, and then that sword will have an identity essentially. So like you could have your very own like Excalibur, right? And then that sword, like if you track the stats of it, you would know how many kills that specific sword had,
Yeah.
which you could then turn around and resell, as like a legendary weapon, like created as a legendary weapon, forged as a legendary weapon based on the number of kills it had in real time, like in real battle. So like, I don't know, man. I'm my brain's going like 1,000 miles an hour when I think about all the things that you could do with it. Like it's just so crazy to me.
I mean,
Man,
so
that
how much more work is it for the people creating these assets to make them compatible with both Bannerlord and the metaverse, in a more general sense?
so the assets that we're going to focus on creating, are going to be are going to be integrated as mods in the game. Um, as far as like the metaverse assets, we're not going to really touch too much as far as modding the various metaverse, visuals. It's just going to be within the game. What we know we can do now,
Yeah. I mean, and sort of like the other thing that had popped into my mind as we were having the little previous discussion there was does all having all that information about being able like tied to weapons and stuff, would that allow you to have weapons that would upgrade over time? So you could start out with like you could buy yourself ostensibly a really expensive quote unquote crap weapon, and then level it up over time. So once you get 1,000 kills, it gets plus 15 to all its stats, for instance.
So as far as weapon leveling, so the way we've structured our sponsorship incentivization is basically through a kind of a more static crafting like the weapon. When you craft a weapon, it won't be able to be leveled. I mean, at least at the beginning. And now I'm trying to what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create an incentivized model where sponsors, so we're getting sponsorship money in society so we can help pay the people that are building, right? Those sponsors, we're rewarding the sponsors whenever they donate a certain tier of sponsorship. we're get they have the rights to a specific weapon of choice that they own the blueprints for. That's when I mint that certificate and I send it to their wallet. And once we get to a certain phase of building out those weapons in the mod, in actually minting them on the blockchain as well, because we're going to be able to equip loadouts and adapt. That's actually, gee, he's in the audience, Malik. He went out and built a DApp that takes your ape, takes your wallet. You take these native tokens on the Cardano blockchain. I minted some prototype armor and weapons, and you're able to drag and drop your loadout and sign a transaction that writes some metadata to the Cardano blockchain, and then it reads, and then the game is going to be able to read that metadata on the other end to get your loadout, right? So to kind of answer your question, no, leveling isn't going to be leveling weapons isn't going to be a thing now. If we can keep track of stats as far as kills, maybe down the road. I'm not gonna promise
Yeah,
this because this might get into some scope or whatever. But it would be cool to be able to level apes.
yeah. No, very very much agreed. Very much agreed.
Yeah.
Um, So, how often do you envision these battles happening? Is it going to be a case of there's always going to be a battle running that you can join in, or is it going to be like a weekend special event sort of thing?
So at the highest frequency, I could envision possibly. I mean, we could uh, more to gain max participation in the tournaments and to the audience members. I would assume we would want to target it for the weekends, weekly,
Yeah,
once a week, right? So that everybody can enjoy it. It's the community event, Saturday night, whatever, or Saturday, whatever, right? That way you enjoy it. You and your team prep, all week, and you set your loadouts the day before, or maybe the epoch before. And then we'll have to hash out the snapshot, the on-chain reading, if we're gonna have if we're gonna force the teams to set their loadouts the epoch before, so we can take a snapshot, or that hasn't been hashed out yet, but we'll have to hash it out as far as the most frequent, you know, time possible. But that's for the big tournament events, right? We were joking around in chat the other day, and you have all kinds of Twitter feuds, with we got people flooding projects left and right, and what if you could go into the amphitheater on a weeknight and settle a Twitter dispute, and Could you imagine the use case there? I mean, I would go. You know.
Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely down. Definitely down. I
So I
can
think.
I can think of a few people I'd like to stab through the face with
Oh
with a
man,
pike. That's for sure.
you settle it right there, man, in the amphitheater. So people, they pay, they get in, and then the winner takes all society. Like that'd be awesome, right?
Yeah, and like you can literally have everyone stood around cheering and making their little bets, and it'll be very much like gladiator games in Roman times.
Yeah, you can
Hell yeah,
see,
man.
man. You know what? Like right now, I can see like Kong's got guys. They want to prove themselves right now, so I can see Kong's get in there heavy and trying to get in there and fight. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
they they got a chip on their shoulder right now. So stuff like that. That'd be a good, awesome use case.
no, yeah, I mean, definitely sounds crazy. So, I mean, obviously, all this is, there's going to be a long lead time on the development for all this. How was it putting together the team to make this a reality? Because obviously, the Ape Society team knows each other and everything like that. And, you guys have all known each other for a while, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you all work well together.
You know what? With the bounty system, it's first person who completes a bounty, and let's go and let's move the change. You know.
Nice. So, I mean, sort of like, do you have somebody that's like overall has an overall responsibility for delivering the project?
That's me. I'm right now. I'm heading the project. I'm every role that isn't filled. I'm plugging in. Everything that's needed. Now people are building it, right? Like there's a lot of people, artists, full stack developers. They're fulfilling the bounties and taking care of that. But as far as posting the bounties, I'm doing that. Toggin, like I mentioned him earlier, I actually, as part of the proposal, he is one of the co-signers. He I pointed him. Now in one of the documents that I sent you, it shows a structure of the leadership of the project, and what's called the stewardship of the amphitheater. And there's 5 seats. There's mine, right? I'm kind of overseeing and filling in the blanks whenever there's an empty slot. But I'm also I have 4 slots. There's a maester. The maester's in charge of writing the lore for the weapons and everything, and the backstories for the donors. That's Toggin. There's 3 empty slots right now. There's the grand artisan. The artisan's line of bounties is going to be the technical line. That's going to be like the C sharp modding. That's going to be like the Plutus. That's going to be the web development. There's another line, the called the Grand Maestro. That line, that's going to be the 3D assets, the 2D assets, the artist. If we have any music, art related branch where he's going to assign bounties for artists to complete, or he or she, right? And then there's going to be a third one, fourth one, called the Inquisitor's line, which I kind of like this one because you don't really have to have any technical skills here or any artistry skills. The Inquisitor's responsibility is to validate the integrity of the product. For example, testers, people go in there, find exploits in the smart contract, find exploits in the game, because we're messing with people's society, people's money here, right? So we want to make sure we have the highest integrity solution without any vulnerabilities. So the Inquisitor's branch is going to be responsible for testing, for stress testing, for finding exploits, reporting bugs, and also the responsibility is also to do market research on games and metaverses and all that stuff. So I've yet to appoint the Inquisitor, Maestro, and Artisan roles. I'm kind of poking around, looking around in the community, see who has kind of a basic skill set with that branch. That I can lean on to post those bounties so that I can focus on building the back end, foundation of the amphitheater. And also, now this week, I've been on a couple space. This is my second. I usually hide, man. I usually hide in my behind my keyboard. I never get on spaces or anything. So this is my first week where I get on anything like an AMA or a space, and I got one on with Jay Crypto on Monday, and then now this one. So I anticipate probably my role will turn into more of a explanation of the vision of the amphitheater, kind of getting people motivated, and also just filling and plugging in the blanks as they're needed within the project. So I guess that's kind of a long answer to your question.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, as much as most of our discussion has focused on the game that's coming up, there is, obviously you've mentioned that there's quite a lot more to do with the amphitheater than just the game. So, obviously you were saying about different shops, but I was wondering about what sort of other events that you're hoping to host there.
Last night I fell asleep early and I woke up in the middle of the night and I got on a Twitter space with Fiddy. He's a Bored Ape holder, and anyway, I got in his Twitter space. Cardano Shield was there. I got on, and there are a lot of music artists in Web3. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
yeah,
talented people, and if we can build this venue, amphitheater, the tournaments, the combat, that's just one of the events that we can host, right? If we can just build a core venue in the metaverse, a destination that's, pay society to get in, we could structure the instead of tournament winnings, we can use that budget to pay artists, upcoming artists, or even famous artists like Snoop. Like, I'm sure Snoop's son he's in the Claymates community, but he's leading the charge in bringing artists to blockchain and in Cardano. So they're going to need a venue to perform, and you know um I'm in being the Ape Society community as it emerges is one of the top, and I think we're already around there, right? The top projects in Cardano. um we're going to show up and we're going to support our stadium, and we're going to support the artists that show up there, and give them you know you support them in everything. So yeah, music artists. We have a lot of in the Ape Society. We have a lot of smart, intelligent people. A lot of like you got Thorpe Brown with this book that he's publishing. Your reality is a construction. A lot of philosophy, a lot of real world conversations, and I can see the amphitheater also being a platform for motivational speakers, or just fill in the blank, just anybody.
yeah. I mean, sort of like as you're running through that, I mean, we do have one film production company they've just released their second full-length feature film, Serenity Films. And being able being able to turn up to the Ape Society Amphitheatre and maybe watch a newly released film, whether it's a blockchain film or one that's even quote unquote for the wider market.
Oh my God, that is such an awesome use case. Stream that video, that film, that
Yeah,
premiere in the
yeah,
amphitheater. And then they get the society admissions for the people attending. That perfect use case right there. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's so many different ways that can be done. Whether you have scientists coming on and doing talks, or I mean, yeah, I mean, there's many different uses for an amphitheater. That's for sure.
I could have my cooking show. You guys could come watch me cook some meat.
Nice.
Ooh,
Looks like
yeah.
looks like looks like we got somebody with their hand raised. Meta.
Yeah, yeah. Let's bring him up here. And just so everybody knows, if you do have any questions and you're a little bit shy about coming on voice or anything, fire them into NFT chat, and I'll make sure that the guys get a chance to answer.
Hey, Meta.
Hey guys, hey. First of all, like it's been awesome to really see like the development of this whole thing. I mean, at first, I sent one of the proposals in and got some good votes and feedback and stuff, and I was kind of bummed when someone else won. But like seeing all the work that you guys are pouring into this and all the awesome ideas, it's remarkable. So my question would be like with the kind of the organization of the tournaments and stuff. Do you plan on like almost like advertising it to different Cardano CNFT communities, and then having people build their teams that way. And then that's kind of where some of the revenue comes in from them buying into their teams being able to participate and stuff like that. I'm just kind of wondering what your model for that would be.
The marketing model for every tournament, pretty much. You know what? I really haven't, I really haven't thought about how we're gonna advertise, every event. As a community event, we have hundreds of people participating just in the tournament itself, and then probably hundreds more attending. Um, I would probably kind of like the Twitter spaces that are out there right now. Somebody's gonna have a Twitter space on this day, whatever. If we establish a consistent event like Saturday at 5 p.m., then we can start building a reputation of being a destination where people can go and enjoy and experience XYZ. Um, right now, that's my thought, but I'm not a true. I'll take whatever ideas people present to help elevate the marketing of it.
Yeah, I mean, if TAS is going to be like the flagship project for CNFT, I mean, there's certainly going to be other games like Equine, which has a lot of betting, and you're going to have teams and corn and stuff like that. But I feel like this has a lot of opportunity for like different project clout and kind of staying relevant in the space. Even like, especially during these bear markets, this would be like the perfect thing to have like running already, just to keep everyone busy and entertained and give value to the chain. So yeah.
Oh, definitely, man. And then when it comes to the bear market, we hear Jerome Powell, crash of the market every month, and it's kind of frustrating, right? And it's like, and you know what, man? When it comes to seeing all that, and I got into ADA, I'm new to ADA, dude. I'm only got into it last year at the top. So, so I got into it, and then I started to stake pool,
Same.
just yeah, YouTube, and I was like, you know what, man, this sucks. And I got into CNFTs, had a little bit of success there, but still, everything still went down, right? And so me and it's in one of my announcements, I think a week ago. One of the ways that I cope, and it's kind of therapeutic for me to build things that help bring value to my investments, right? And I don't want to say that I'm building that I want to build the amphitheater just to solely pump the price of something. I want to build the amphitheater to kind of nourish, to kind of nourish, like you're saying, nourish the spirit of everybody while everybody's going through that, and something, a destination. And while I probably, like, I don't know when ADA is going to go back up, or when the market's going to go back up. I don't I don't know if we'll have it out before the bull market. I mean before the next pump. Everybody has different timelines, right? But my timeline is just going from step one to step two, step three, and I don't care how long it takes. I'm just gonna bullet, because gonna charge through it, get whatever needs to get done, and however long it takes, whether a couple months or a few months, several months, whatever. But um, I want to get it released in the bear, but if we don't, that's okay, because in the bull it's just going to be that much funner, and then the next bear is going to be that much funner. Like, I get you. I mean, yeah, I really want to, but even just building it, even just contributing and drawing something up and 3D modeling something, and and making on Wednesday, I spent all day making that ecosystem map. That was rewarding to me, and I like to do kind of stuff like that, and that's kind of the way I cope with the market. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the it factor for me when it comes to when I look at different communities that I want to invest in, is like creators like you who are like actively participating and bringing value to the actual community versus just like, oh, what's the floor? What can I put this for?
Yeah, man, and you know what? And everybody, and I think everybody that's participating in the amphitheater team they have that same frustration that they want to do something, right? Like they want to build something, they want to take action. So I'm not the I'm just kind of like I kind of dabble in little separate technologies. I code a little bit, I draw a little bit. I'm not an expert in any field, but um, I think this gives an opportunity for the community to really showcase who we can be. You know?
So question that's popped into my mind a little bit is how scary or how what concerns do you have over putting the putting the game development in somebody else's hands? So obviously, for instance, let's say Bannerlords releases an update and they nerf one thing that completely changes how the game's played. Um,
Yeah,
So
we'll
yeah,
adapt.
like obviously, not having full control over the product that you're releasing to everybody.
Sure, sure. So if it becomes a problem, then we'll definitely adapt. We're in the blockchain world, in the Web3 world, and the CNF in the NFT world. Things move so fast that you know being part of like especially the people that are around right now during the bear market, we're resilient, right? We're a resilient bunch, and you know what? We'll adapt and we'll overcome that hurdle, and we'll choose a different platform if we need to. That's the beauty about not building a game from scratch, is because you have limited. You don't have to spend a lot of time, a lot of resources to build something from scratch. You just build, mod and let's go. Let's get this up and running. I didn't want to, invest too much time in game development, just kind of tweaking here and there and optimizing as we go. So I want to be agile as much as possible, right?
And yeah, I mean, and the other side of it is obviously, the Bannerlord game's one thing, but do you have plans to possibly expand with other types of games? So whether you could have like your own like in-game Pokemon Go type thing, or poker, or smash carts, but with Roman horses and chariots and stuff like.
Oh man, that'd be cool. I mean, you mean a game like a different game that's broadcasted within the Amphitheater, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, you know what? If we make this happen, if we make this proof of concept happen, I'm sure the community is going to get creative with whatever, So, because this is a community built project, a proposal that was voted on, and by the way, just to clarify, um, everything we're working off of right now is off of donations, right? And the DAO fund, it's intact. We haven't touched it. So, um, I'm sure in the
Wow,
future, when,
that's considering
yeah.
how much everything costs. That's quite the achievement right there.
Oh man, we got some visionary sponsors like Shake Your Wob Maker, like Slick, like Shield. There's a few people here that have donated the honored. Yeah, it just um everybody wants to make this happen, and I'm gonna do everything we can to make this happen. But 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 I want to show like I all the and I'm kind of driven by FUD too, right? Like with Cardano, and now now that the ETH people are coming in here, man, it's kind of surreal, right? Like it's kind of like okay, like I have to really think about okay, like sure, FUD and bear market, that's my fuel to like angry build in a way, but really I want to build an experience. We want to build an experience to transcend blockchains, not maybe not be compatible with all blockchains yet as of yet, but and I don't know what Ape Force One's working on, but like an experience that transcends whatever blockchain. Like this is the destination. You have to get on Cardano, get over here to Ape Society Amphitheater to experience this level of awesomeness, right?
Yeah, I mean, you guys, as one of the most well-known projects on Cardano, kind of have a responsibility is the wrong word, but you certainly there's a certain level of quality expected, and it's it's quite a lot of pressure because it's not just your own holders you've got to satisfy at this point. There's FUD can come from all places, right? Whether it's from even within the community, or from Ethereum communities or Solana communities or wherever.
Yeah, and you know what? At this point, we're at the. I feel like we're at the bottom of the, and we've been, and he, like I said, I got in at the top, so all I've known was FUD, right? So we're we're blessed. We're baptized in FUD here in Cardano, and we're ready for it. Bring it on, you know?
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that. So, how well is the art development going on for the amphitheater itself?
So I laid out a little rough little roadmap in the Discord, and phase one was building out a DApp to make sure that we can set the loadouts on the blockchain. And G, he's in the audience. He totally ran with that, and totally crushed it. Totally made it happen. Like I totally blew my mind. I didn't even know it was possible. Like I would just phase one and phase two are more like proof of concepts before we really unleash all the artwork bounties and really spend really spend the capital that we've been donated. In phase one, he totally crushed phase one, and phase two right now we're on the proof of concept of the game server and the modding, like just to make sure we can make this happen. And to answer your question, phase three is when we're going to start deploying on a mass scale the artwork and the 3D modeling bounty. So if you know anybody that has any 3D modeling experience in Blender, because I think the game is pretty compatible with Blender, and I'm not as expert in 3D modeling. Maya. I don't know what other applications there are out there, but if you know people in the community that are 3D artists, we're paying, like when we start phase three, we're going to be paying society to the people who fulfill those bounties. So it's going to be incentivized for the builders.
Okay, so that's society, not Ada.
That's correct. That's correct. Society, and you know what? In that the way society is going right now, I don't even this. Who, man,
Not
I mean,
financial advice, everybody. Not financial advice.
but yeah, but that goes back to the bounty structure, and it's one of those PDFs that I sent you, and also the PDFs are on the Discord.
Yeah.
But to participate in the minimum level bounty, you have to have cabin, right? That way, whenever you get that society, it proves to the community that you have a stake in the ecosystem, that you can use it. You can of course you can always choose to sell it, but that you have some some stake, and you can use it for frames. Whenever the city comes out here soon, I think that's next week, right? But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, just drop that on somebody that doesn't follow everything Ape all the time. Like, hang on, you got City coming out in a week?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what? Wait, what?
Oh, you haven't heard? Yeah, there was an announcement two days ago, the day of Vassal hard fork. I think next week. I don't know the timeline exactly, but Ape Force One, the actual developers. Now I'm a community member, but the actual developers released an announcement that the use case for cabins, frames, apes, and society token, the primary economic foundation, will be released. Looks like next week.
So, yeah. I mean, I'm going to have to organise another AMA, I think, aren't
Yeah.
I? Pretty much.
Oh, Steve, tell him I know that ToolSin asked earlier about whether you were going to need an ape to be able to access the actual amphitheater, but as far as participating in the tournaments and stuff, you will need an ape. Is that correct?
That's correct. Apes to participate in the combat. in the actual game, you will need an ape.
Okay. Will there be a way for you to drop that requirement to either, to be able to show prospective apes what they're missing out on by not owning an ape, or perhaps with for a special event with another project?
So I've heard rumors of a service being able to offer apes a rental service to non-ape holders.
Ooh, that will go down quite nicely for everybody wanting to get involved, I'm sure.
So there's your trial, right? You rent your ape and go compete and see how it is, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I was so glad that you got there because I was hoping we were going to get there a little bit earlier. But again, for me personally, that is one of the most bullish use cases that is coming out of the whole Vasal hard fork thing. Is just having the ability to potentially having the ability to be able to rent our NFTs to other people, for whatever. I mean, if you wanted a pixel or something, you could, maybe Pixels will have that same ability too, same type of service where you could rent a pixel and participate in their game world. Or if I didn't really want to go ham on cornucopias or whatever, but I wanted to try to like experience what being in that metaverse was like, then maybe I could somehow access it through a rental or something like that. But I mean, I am just so bullish on the fact that this will probably be able to happen. And so, yeah, like just again, another stream of income for ape holders. Specifically, they could just be renting out their apes nonstop for people who wanted to participate in this play to earn. So you as the ape holder will earn passive income from renting your ape, and whoever rents your ape will be able to earn active income through a play to earn mechanism. I mean, it's just crazy. Like I can't. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you start combining that in with rankings and possibly like leveling up apes and stuff like that, it gets pretty crazy pretty quickly. Um, but I mean, like for myself as a smaller bad guy, I wouldn't be able to justify purchasing an ape and remaining in any way financially sensible. But the opportunity to hire an ape or rent an ape for either a game or a week or a month or whatever the terms end up being would make that a bit more accessible to me, to say the least.
And you know what, Toolson, I'm sure since you're a valuable member of the CNFT community, I'm sure one of us will hook you up with a cheap rental just for you to, try it out.
Well, that will definitely be appreciated. Yeah, but yeah, it's good to see that there's ways for people that don't have thousands to drop on an ape to be able to get involved and feel like they're taking a part in the economy and the community in that way as well.
Yeah.
So what other what other plans do you have for the amphitheatre coming up? Because obviously, there's a lot going on there.
Sure. So me, basically the tournaments, the side betting by the audience members. We had our third proposal co-signee. He envisioned also kind of a casino use case for the amphitheater, like you
Yeah.
said, poker. Um, like I'm whatever we can build in there. I'm all for. My focus is primarily to get the tournament operational, get the modding operational, and then once we get that core, once we get the dedicated server communicating with the blockchain, that's I like to I'm kind of the person that likes to tackle the hard thing first. So
Yeah.
that's my plan. Then we can tackle the periphery stuff later.
Yeah, I mean, sort of like if everything runs smoothly, when do you expect to be able to log in for the first time? Is it just going to be a case of waiting around for the metaverses, or are you going to have some kind of like web interface first?
So if the Tail Worlds devs release a dedicated server quickly, and or if we find a solution for dedicated server quickly, and we build our portion of it, then I don't want to wait on the metaverses, man. I want to maybe like set up a little space. Like, I mean, you got this one, like in Discord spaces, Discord chats, you can stream video, right? So, um,
You can, but you can't really.
yeah, you can't, but you can't. Well, eh, I don't want to. I want to build out the core, and then we'll look around. Once we got our part built, we'll pop our heads out and see. Okay, where can we go from there? So I'm sure cornucopias. I'm sure one of them will have something out by then, and we'll see when we get there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be quite the ride for sure. And I mean, it's a shame that you're having to wait around for other people to a certain extent. But at the same time, you are taking steps to work yourselves around that problem, which is quite sweet. Um, so it's been a while since the previous AMA. Do you want to just give us a little quick rundown on the society token and where it's tradable and the other uses it might have? As obviously if it's going to be used in the play to earn system, it's going to be that side of it's going to be quite important.
So society token, it's of course the foundation. It's the core of the Ape Society, right? Um, in order to participate in Ape Society, landmarks in cabins and staking and frames, pretty much that's going to be the currency for our whole ecosystem, our whole community ecosystem. Um, Now, in order to acquire more society token, you're going to be able to take your cabins. You need a cabin, and you're going to be able to stake your any of your NFTs if you have buds or clays or whatever, anything. You can stake those NFTs inside of your cabins if you buy frames with your society token, and that'll earn you passive society token. I think I don't know the frequency. I think it's daily. I'm not sure. It's not out yet, but I think next week that's when it comes out. But that's how you earn it. And then I think everything the community builds, like use cases like this, like the amphitheater, we're going to make it a society use case for. So if you want to participate in the Web3 community, economy, play to earn, whatever we build in the future, board games, there was a proposal there was a couple proposals I liked the use case for that would need to be resurfaced. Meta, I think I saw yours. Some of those we got to revamp some of those in the future and make some society use case. So whatever we build down the road, we're going to build with some society use case. And also Toolsin, um, we have another proposal out that got voted up by the DAO. It's called the Ape Society Apprenticeship Program. and what we're
Okay.
doing is and what we're doing with that is we're sending people in the community who have a little bit of scripting and programming experience. We're sending them to Emergo to be trained up. The DAO is going to fund that to be trained up on Plutus and Haskell smart contract, and they're going to come back and do a 6 month. They're going to, of course, they're going to lock up some assets and collateral with the DAO, right? While they do their tour of duty. So they're going to come back and do like a kind of a 6 month part-time internship, either with the Ape Force One the developers, or any community project that's being built. So we're going to have legitimate, educated by Emergo talent within the community in the coming months.
You see, that's really strong actually. That's really really strong. So you're actually I mean, paying for your members to take these courses and get these certifications, and yeah, that's pretty massive for the community as a whole.
Yeah,
Like,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's just bowled me over a little bit actually.
yeah, I mean, Space Wave ABR. He was in here earlier. He approached after the amphitheater proposal got voted on and everything, and we started up the project. He reached out to me and he said, "Hey, I'm looking to do a partnership, a partnership with Emergo and the Ape Society. Do you think the community will like it?" And I said, You know what? I said, you know what? And he's a very intelligent, very well spoken, like his IQ, you can tell his IQ is like next level. And he drafted up a proposal, and it would just, I was like, wow, this is awesome. The collateral idea that, and we worked back and forth on it. And then I'm like, you know what, man, either the community's gonna have, they're gonna love this because it's gonna build our community, or this is gonna be a real test of what kind of community we have. If we have the big brain community that knows that building talent from the inside is valuable, that they're gonna vote this up. If we have a degen, not, I don't want, we're all degens, but if we have a degen first, pump my floor community, buy this because it pumps the floor community, then they're gonna vote it down. So we submitted it, and the community passed the test. They voted it up, and like you said earlier, you look for communities that actually want to build
Yeah.
and not just pump, right?
Yeah, I mean, it does bring a whole new level of meaning to investing in your community. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, just keep blowing me away with all these little bits of information.
Yeah, we're working, man. We're baptized in FUD. Let's go. Let's build it. Let's charge us.
So I mean, as much as there's a lot to be excited about, what's the thing that you're most looking forward to out of it all?
I just, I just want to the experience of not just the amphitheater when it's built, but the experience of building it, of building, whenever you journey through life, your closest friends aren't the people that, your closest friends are the people that are with you in the trenches, that are with you in the hard times, in the bear market, and in the people we have in the Ape Society right now that are building alongside us and in the community. That's Those are the kind of people that you want, that you want to be around, when in the good times,
Yeah.
so what I look for is the experience of, I almost get more satisfaction of building this than I do playing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the sense of ownership and pride that you're going to get when everybody sets foot in, and even like 6 months down the line when everyone's just like milling around doing their thing, whether they're buying some items from the shops or just hanging out by the campfire or doing whatever it is they're going to do, like that level of ownership and love that you're going to feel for everything that you've created will be quite immense, I'm sure.
Definitely. In the system we have, the bounty structure we have, it allows for anyone in the community to contribute at their own time, and whatever pace we do it at. I mean, I'm not, I'm just trying to organize it. I'm not anybody, like, I don't want to set any, I just try to motivate and try to fill in the blanks, and the community showed up, um so s- this is a mind-blowing new way of building out. This is definitely a Web3 way to build it. When this thing comes out, the achievement of this amphitheater is not going to be what was built, but how it was built.
I mean, do you have much of a background in project management then? Because obviously, there's a lot of moving parts to all of this.
Yeah, so I work, like earlier I said, I work in the medical field for the U.S. Department of Defense, and there's a lot of security restrictions, a lot of safety precautions, a lot of HIPAA requirements, and ever since I started working for the DoD, I mean, man, I shouldn't be saying this because I might get doxxed, right?
Yeah,
But
I'm not
um,
looking to break any international laws here or anything.
it's fine. I mean, it's okay. But here's the thing. I whenever you see projects, I'm not my role in my day job isn't a project manager, but whenever you see things falling apart around you, you start taking charge, you
Yeah.
start, and when it comes to Cardano and the FUD and the prices and the and not in the community and Ape Society is of course blue chip, but you take that motivation and you harness that and progress and transcend, and the community here is just they've taken they've had a positive response to that level of, I don't know, I guess leadership. I don't want to say leadership, but I guess that's what it is, right?
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it is. I mean, if you don't have faith in the person that's organising everything, then you don't have faith in the project. Sorry, Alice.
Yeah. Anybody else want to ask any questions or need some clarification on some of the mechanics or anything? I'm looking at people who want to raise their hands.
Yeah, or if you don't want to jump onto chat, you can always fire it into NFT chat as well. I'm keeping an eye on that. Um, it is actually starting to get a little bit late here, unfortunately.
Oh, that's fine. No, this I had a good time. ToolSin, thank you for bringing us on and like I said, I don't do these. I don't talk much. I have a full-time job. I have a family, and so I don't get out much. I barely have enough time to do what I can for the projects that I'm in, and you know, thank you for hosting and being graceful and I'm not, you know, I'm pretty sure I don't know how I would have spoken here if you were one of those Twitter spaces where they're savages in those Twitter spaces, like. So I appreciate your gracefulness here, I mean, Toolsen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't uh, watch a lot of. I don't go to a huge amount of the Twitter space and stuff, but yeah, they can be pretty savage. I like a bit more of a chilled out vibe, the sort of thing you can put in the background while you're doing the washing up or doing the chores or driving to work or you don't necessarily always want to have an argument, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely great having you come on. I mean, as much as you say you've not done many of these, you've certainly come across very well, and I think there's going to be a lot more people thinking, well, maybe I should take the plunge and get myself a cabin to make sure I don't miss out on all this.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, I mean, if there isn't anyone else needing to ask a question, I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. But yeah, I mean, thank you everybody for showing up. I mean, we had so many in earlier. We've still got a good core of you stuck around to the end with Ape avatars absolutely everywhere, with the exception of that one little jelly cube there. So shout out to Sol. He's a regular viewer of our AMAs, along with a couple of Space Pugs Alpha there I see as well. So shout out to those guys. But yeah, big shout out to Shake You Maker and MetaG for coming along and saying hello in voice, and obviously for Steve for enlightening us all on the future plans of the Ape Society Amphitheatre project.
Cool. Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, make sure you check out all the social media links below. I'm pointing down even though I'm not on camera. But yeah, check out the Discord links. Make sure you say hello. And we'll see you all for the next AMA soon.
Alrighty.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone.